Imagine this, you're walking down the street, maybe grabbing a coffee, when suddenly the air shimmers. A swirling vortex of energy tears open reality, and out steps Darth Vader. Not a cosplayer, but the real deal, lightsaber humming, his iconic breathing echoing through the bewildered silence. What would actually happen? How would our world react to the arrival of the Dark Lord of the Sith? First, let's set the scene. Vader wouldn't just pop up in Times Square for a photo op. A dimensional breach like that would likely happen somewhere with a massive energy signature. Think CERN's Large Hadron Collider or a major power plant. The initial event would be a scientific anomaly, triggering alarms across the globe. But before scientists could even process the data, the reports would start flooding in, a 7-foot-tall figure in black armor, seemingly impervious to harm. Wielding a weapon that cuts through anything, the immediate reaction would be a mix of disbelief, panic, and a whole lot of social media chaos. Every phone would be out. Live streaming the impossible. Hashtags like hashtag Vader in real life and hashtag SITH Lord spotted would trend worldwide within minutes. News helicopters would scramble, but they'd have to keep their distance. Vader's first encounter with our technology would be decisive. Imagine a police car racing to the scene, sirens blaring. Vader wouldn't even break his stride, a simple gesture, a flick of his wrist, and the car would be crushed into a metal ball. That single act, witnessed by millions online, would change everything. The world would know this is not a hoax. Militaries would be mobilized instantly. Jets would be scrambled. But how do you fight a man who can stop bullets with his mind and deflect missiles with a laser sword? The initial military response would be a catastrophic failure. F-22 Raptors would be plucked from the sky like toys. Tanks would be ripped apart by the Force. Our conventional weapons would be utterly useless against a master of both the light and dark sides of the Force. The Pentagon would be in full crisis mode, trying to devise a strategy against an enemy whose abilities defy the laws of physics as we know them. This is where things get really interesting. Vader is not just a brute. He's a brilliant military strategist and a powerful political figure. He wouldn't just go on a random rampage. He would assess, analyze, and seek power. His first target wouldn't be a random city, it would be a center of global communication or governance. Maybe the UN headquarters, or a major global satellite network hub. He understands that control isn't just about physical dominance, it's about controlling information and authority. Imagine Vader striding into the United Nations General Assembly. World leaders, protected by the best security on Earth, would be helpless. He wouldn't need to fight his way in. The doors would open for him. Guards would find themselves unable to draw their weapons, their bodies frozen by an unseen power. He would approach the podium, his breathing the only sound in the cavernous hall, and then he would speak. His voice, amplified by his helmet, would command absolute attention. He wouldn't shout. He wouldn't need to. He would simply state his intentions, to bring order to a chaotic, divided world. He would see our planet, with its endless wars, political infighting, and social unrest, as a system in desperate need of his brand of order. He would offer peace, the Empire's peace. In exchange for total submission, some would be terrified. Others, believe it or not, might be tempted. In a world fraught with instability, Vader's promise of absolute order and an end to conflict could be strangely appealing to a fringe minority. Cults would spring up overnight, worshipping him as a dark messiah. Political opportunists might try to align with him, hoping to gain power in his new regime. The world would be split not just by nations, but by ideology, those who would resist at all costs, and those who would welcome a new powerful ruler. But global resistance would be fierce. Scientists would be working around the clock, trying to understand the Force and find a weakness. Could they develop an energy field to disrupt it? A weapon that could bypass his defenses. This would become the new Manhattan Project, a desperate, worldwide effort to find a way to fight back. Hackers would try to penetrate his suit systems. Assuming it has any interface with our technology, elite special forces would attempt daring, high-risk missions to try and capture or neutralize him. Every attempt would be a suicide mission. But what about Vader himself? This world is not the galaxy he knows. There are no Jedi, no rebellion as he understands it, and no Emperor Palpatine pulling the strings. For the first time, he would be truly alone, the sole user of the Force on an entire planet. This isolation could have a profound psychological effect. Would he be driven further into his rage and lust for power? Or would the absence of his master and the familiar galactic conflict give him a moment of clarity? He would sense the raw emotions of 7 billion people, the fear, the hope, the love, the anger. He is, after all, Anakin Skywalker. Deep beneath the armor and the anger is a man who once loved. Could our world, in its strange, chaotic way, inadvertently trigger something of that old self? Maybe he encounters an act of pure, selfless heroism that reminds him of Padme. Or perhaps he sees a child who reminds him of a young Luke or Leia. These moments, these flickers of humanity, could be our only real weapon against him. A missile can't reach his heart, but maybe an idea, a memory, or an emotion could. In the end, the conflict wouldn't be won on a battlefield with tanks and jets. It would be a battle for Vader's soul, waged in the strange new world he found himself in. His quest for order would be challenged not by a rebel fleet, but by the sheer indomitable, and often illogical spirit of humanity itself. The question isn't just whether we could survive Darth Vader. The bigger question is, could he survive us? What do you think would happen? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this Cosmic What If, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more. See you next time.